From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News on this Monday. I'm Keagan Harsha. Let's get right to our top story. 2 young children are among the 4 people killed this weekend in what is now believed to be a murder-suicide in Kalispell. Kalispell police now say all 4 people died from gunshot wounds, including the 2 children. One was 6 years old, the other just 7 months old. Police believe that 33-year-old Nicholas Olson Hartley shot his children and his 27-year-old wife Katie before turning the gun on himself. Police were called to that home just before 6 a.m. Sunday for a report of a mental health concern. The department now says the father and shooter, Nicholas, made that 911 call before killing himself. Meantime, authorities in Yellowstone County also continue to investigate a weekend homicide after a body was found inside a burned-up mobile home over the weekend. This happened early Saturday morning at the Meadowlark mobile home on Jim Street. Yellowstone County Sheriff Mike Linder says once the fire was extinguished, a man was found dead inside. 13 hours later, a suspect was arrested, and he's now behind bars on a string of charges, including arson and deliberate homicide. That suspect's name has yet to be released, but Sheriff Linder says the suspect was arrested in Bighorn County.
We thought we'd take a live look over towards Missoula here. As of midday, you can see that things are starting to run higher in the river now in the Clark Fork, as it picked up about a foot over the weekend. 58 right now being reported. That just updated seconds ago. Here's a look towards Helena, 67 degrees, so about 9 degrees warmer. And then as we take a look over towards central Montana, another 10 degrees warmer as we look towards Billings, sunshine, and then warming temperatures into the eastern plains. This is over towards Miles City. The bucking horse sale coming up already in the low 80s, could hit the 90s. Forecast is coming up.
Time now for today's leading look as we take a look at some of the other stories making headlines across Montana. The Environmental Protection Agency is looking to eliminate or reorganize Energy Star. That's the rating system of efficiency and cost of operations for major appliances. According to the website, Energy Star has saved consumers over $500 billion in energy costs since it was created back in 1992. In Great Falls, Eklund's Appliance and Mattress says it does not expect those cuts to affect consumers much, if at all. Staff there says sales always pick up as the weather improves, and they do not expect Energy Star cuts to affect the cycle. Gallatin County leaders have decided to stop working on a plan to team up with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The original proposal, ICE had requested 10 beds at the Gallatin County Detention Center to temporarily house inmates being transferred into the federal court system. ICE had offered to pay $135 per day for each bed. On May 2nd, the Gallatin County Attorney's Office, though, reached out to ICE in efforts to draft a proposal. And at the county commissioner meeting held last Tuesday, nearly 30 community members spoke out on that proposal from ICE, the majority of those being opposed. County commissioners also say they received hundreds of emails and calls, all of them in opposition. And now another story that rattled the city of Bozeman. 13 police officers involved in an on-duty game of crime bingo. Well, since then, the question has been, what will happen to all those arrested by officers playing the game? MTN's Cassidy Powers has that answer.
A story you may recall. Some Bozeman police officers were caught playing a little game of bingo while on the clock. Now I'm here to tell you that some of the folks arrested during the time of these games, their charges are being dismissed.
2 teams of patrol officers were engaged in a bingo competition where success in the game hinged on whether they engaged in actions listed on the bingo card.
April 18th, a press conference was held. In mid-January, 13 officers, including 2 sergeants, took part in an on-duty game of bingo.
So it did look like your standard bingo card. They filled in squares on the card of things that they wanted to see happen or have happen in order to check off that box on the bingo card.
This example card shows squares including drug DUIs, collecting over $50,000 in warrants, successful CPR, and something they call butt naked. According to Bozeman Police Chief Jim Veltkamp, this game went on for 12 days before getting shut down. During that time, officers involved with the game sent 24 misdemeanor cases to the city court and 11 to the county attorney's office. All these cases were reviewed.
We conducted our own internal investigation, and then after that, the city attorney's office conducted their own review and concluded the same. 0 of the cases had been affected by the game.
In a statement, Gallatin County Attorney Audrey Cromwell tells me of the 11 felony cases to review, 2 were juvenile. The other 9 involved felony drug cases and 1 partner-family member assault. Cromwell added in this statement, 4 of these felony cases had been filed and were currently pending in the district court. The other 5 were in review to determine whether to file charges or not. Cromwell declined to prosecute 5 of the cases and moved to dismiss the 4 pending. When I asked Cromwell how she came to this decision, her statement reads, "I made the determination that to best protect the constitutional and due process rights of the defendants and to ensure fairness of their trials, the cases should be dismissed." Cromwell continued by explaining once a case is dismissed by the court, all hearings are vacated, bond is exonerated, and the case is closed. I reached out to Police Chief Jim Veldkamp to get his reaction to these dismissals, but the chief was unable to respond today. Cromwell's full statement will be posted on our website. In Bozeman, Cassidy Powers, MTN News.
An advocacy organization is going to be visiting Montana schools this year. The goal? See how well they're doing at preparing students with disabilities for transition to life outside of the classroom. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has more on what they're hoping to find out.
Disability Rights Montana says the law is clear about what schools need to be doing to make sure that students on individualized education programs are ready for what comes next after graduation. And they want to get a better picture of how it's working in Montana right now.
It's not an adversarial process, and it's not a gotcha. It's about going and seeing how things are going.
Tal Golden is the Director of Advocacy for Disability Rights Montana. He says about 21,000 students across the state have individualized education plans for a wide range of disabilities that require changes to what they learn or how they're taught. Under federal law, schools are required to update the plan once a student reaches age 16 to look at what they can do to help the student get ready for education, training, jobs, and living on their own after graduating.
And so really that's the same goals that we have for every student, right? Further education, employment, and independent living. But for students with disabilities, they may need more direct and specific planning to accomplish those goals.
Golden says they've sometimes seen those transition plans aren't detailed enough or aren't there at all. During the rest of this school year, they're looking to visit 3 to 4 school districts to meet with students, parents, and staff. They could do more monitoring visits next year.
Asking about how this is going. What does transition planning look like? What are some strengths and deficits that you see there? Sometimes then we follow up with recommendations if there are things that we're concerned about or things that could be done better. A lot of times they ask us for resources. Disability Rights Montana has also opened an online survey where they're asking students with disabilities to weigh in on how prepared they feel for life after high school. We'd like to get broad data about how it's going from as many people as possible.
You can find a link to the Disability Rights Montana survey by going to our website. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Well, a fun-filled annual event up in the Flathead is teaching the next generation about the great outdoors. The week-long celebration offers hands-on exposure to the role that forests play in our everyday lives. MTN's Sean Wells has this morning's Montana Ag Network report.
So this looks like a pike minnow.
I mean, this is how kids are supposed to learn, in my opinion.
Hands-on learning was on full display during the 36th Annual Family Forestry Expo in Flathead County.
Whoa, it's wet.
Katie Haas teaches 5th grade at Edgerton Elementary in Kalispell and was excited to share Montana's beautiful outdoors with her students.
Some of these kids have never been in this sort of environment. And it's really fun letting them be kids and play and learn in the way that Montanans have always been learning.
Students visit stations that provide educational presentations about forest management, wildlife, fisheries, and more.
How do we act? How do we as people act in the forest? How do we use the products from the forest responsibly? For 36 years, Deb Starling has been working and volunteering at the Family Forestry Expo, helping teach the next generation of Montanans. And to see their interest in natural resources in this wonderful place that we all get to call home is just pretty darn special. More than 1,200 5th graders from all over northwest Montana take part in the fun, like seeing this portable sawmill up close in action.
It was really cool. I've never really seen one of them work. I've seen them before, but I haven't seen it actually saw the wood. So it was really interesting to watch. Fortine Elementary 5th grader Credence Cassis had a blast being outside with her friends. You learn about more things, and if you don't know too much about it, it's awesome to come out here and learn more about it.
In Columbia Falls, Sean Wells, MTN News.